Hi, welcome to my road test on a slightly damp morning of the 2018 Softail Breakout. This is the 107. My local dealership doesn't have the 114, unfortunately. Due to the weather, of course, it's quite slippy out. This is just after the snow, so there's probably a lot of rubbish on the roads. I won't be flinging it about, but I can get a rough idea what it feels like. And straight off you can tell the 2018 Softails are very, very comfy. This is from a sporty rider, so obviously a Sportster is not comfortable. Engines they will sit at low revs. 1500 revs riding doesn't feel bad on the Sportster, it feels terrible. These will happily sit at a much wider rev range. Now, although this isn't the 114, it's the 107, it still pulls bloody well, to be honest. I picked this up from Southampton Harley Davidson, so thank the guys there. While my bike's in for a service, I said, oh, I'll take the Breakout, and they said, yeah, all right, whatever. It doesn't sound too bad either, really. For a standard bike. Now I'm about to take it round a very tight roundabout in a minute, so we'll see what this is like. The other Breakout, the old Breakout, I bloody could barely get round this roundabout. It was horrible. So let's have a look. Not going to have a problem at this speed, are we? Well, it's better. Far better. She pulls really well. Now it's a bit more comfortable at this sort of speed than the Sporty, and I guess that's because of the size of the tank, I think it deflects a fair bit of wind a little bit higher. Of course, this tank is a lot smaller than the old Breakout tank, and personally I think it's all the better for it. I prefer the size of this tank. The Breakout always felt very cumbersome. I mean, it was horrible in corners. And when you look down, you sort of thought, oh, you could see why, you could feel why. It was just a bloody lumbering beast. Now, I know a lot of the guys who ride Breakouts and own Breakouts, they love the old one. They really need to get on the new one and have a little go. The new Softails are bloody amazing, actually. But the riding position, oh my God, it's really good. Really good, I love it. It's just my sort of cup of tea. Feet forward, drag bars, but the drag bars are quite high and pull back quite a way, so it is just perfect. Can ride for miles on this. My only issue with the Breakout is there's a lot of chrome on it, and I'm not a chromosexual. To quote Moto Noob Rider, it's a great little quote, but yeah, I'm not a great fan of all this chrome. I much prefer it a bit blacker. I don't mind a little bit. Yeah, plenty of overtaking grunt with this. I think if I ordered a Breakout, I would definitely get a 114, but it doesn't need it. I mean, it's got plenty of oomph. The mirrors on this are bloody useless. I cannot see a thing. I have to pull my elbows in and look round. They are absolutely bobbins. I mean, the Breakout for me is probably one of the best looking bikes they do. Oh, that's filthy. A bit difficult to say. Do I prefer this or the Fat Bob? I test rode that last year when it first came out, and I really like the Fat Bob. I didn't like the look of it to start with. In fact, I thoroughly disliked it, but it has really grown on me. But this I immediately liked. I liked the smaller tank. I didn't like the big tank on the old one, as I said. It made its whole seem, yeah, it felt like a big bike, but it felt like a big cumbersome bike. I think the only thing I can compare this to in the old Harley range is it feels like the old Fat Bob. Far more like the old Fat Bob and the old Breakout anyway. It does actually go around corners. I can still feel it trying to push me wide with the big rear tyre, but nowhere near as bad as the old Breakout, which would try and push me off the bloody roundabout. Okay, so back out on the bike. Roads have dried a little bit, just for a few minutes, so ooh. No suspension can deal with that bump. But just through those little bends, it's remarkably good. Once you've made an allowance for that tyre, you can turn it in quite well. I mean, because it weighs nothing at the top, all the weight's way down. It feels remarkably light. By making allowances for that tyre, just pushing a little bit harder on the to counter steer into the corner, it handles all right actually. It's not bad at all. That's better. They're not splashing shit all over me. Right. So okay, so we've got a little bend here. Oh, it goes round, look at that. It goes round the corners. Very stable. Turns in. We'll go Beauty Road. Drop by farmers round here. Look at that, all over the road. I'm actually surprised. I'm very pleasantly surprised. The mirror actually gets in the way of my knuckle. I think the front is a little undersprung. Get over. Jesus. The back's far better than the front. But this is no sports bike. This is a cruiser. This is for feeling really good while you're going along slowly. But this is quite a turn, this one. No problems at all. No problems at all. I mean, the pegs are down, but nice little handling section with some left rights, so we'll see how it turns. Then the Fat Bob was quite good at that, although you can feel the front was very difficult to turn. You really had to muscle it into the corner. I mean, the Fat Bob has a big front wheel as well. This one has a relatively skinny wheel compared to the skinny tyre compared to the front. Sorry, compared to the rear. So we'll see how this gets on. Yeah, it's alright that. It's smooth. I mean, you've got to manhandle it a little bit, but it's not like you've got to haul on the bars. I mean, it's definitely a better bike for big sweeping bends, but it can turn. It is a nice tight bend. Wet and shitty. Does feel remarkably stable. Oh, I know Moto Noob likes to test his bikes on a crossing, so here we go. I've ridden that on the Sporty. Damn near breaks you in half. So what would I change about this? Mirrors. Without a doubt, first thing I'd change is the mirrors. I'd probably put them up the other way. Switch left to right and put them underneath. Because I can't see out of them. And that hits my knuckle, which I've never noticed on any bike before. Like that, I can't get my finger off the brake. What could it could do with two front brakes? I mean, that's never going to happen. And yeah, they work. They're adequate. You're never going to be blasting down, hauling up for a corner, pitching it in. You're just gonna. I've just rolled off the throttle and roll into the corner, and they're absolutely fine for that. I mean, for a single rotor, it's pretty bloody good actually. So on the whole, I mean, there's not a lot I change. I love the look. I wouldn't have as much chrome, but then that's something that Harley can charge me for later on, isn't it? The famous Harley tax. Yeah, you can buy a bike, but it does need a big radius on it, or that would sound mean. I love these digital clocks. It makes the front end look really clean, like you've got no clocks at all. It's just tiny, really easy to read, no issues whatsoever. So yeah, overall I think this is a great bike. It's fantastic to look at. I've only had it for a couple of hours, and the compliments it gets. Oh, it's a nice bike. Love that rear tyre, that sort of stuff. And you know, bikes are about showing off a little bit, aren't they? So it kind of ticks those boxes. It doesn't sound bad as a standard one. You know, it sounds better than a lot. But Harley are a changing, and I think personally for the better. I really like it. And there's my little Sporty. A good look. My Sporty's binging, but it's serviced. There we go. Quick look round it. It's obviously grubby. Love that rear tyre though. It's got some aggression. Yep. Industrial grey for me, please. That is bogging. Apologies to Southampton Harley Davidson. We've got a big event coming up with the sickness on April the 14th. It's the big one, take 3. So it's the third event they've been running, which basically marks the start of the riding season. That's going to be epic. Last year they had over 500 Sporties. Hopefully should be a lot more this year. We're off to Silverstone and we're going to be riding Sportsters on the track. What a bizarre concept. Still. Okay, so that's me signing off. And I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, like and subscribe. I'm pretty new to this, so any constructive criticism will be brilliant. Not including get a new camera, because I haven't got one yet. This is just my little prism tube to find out if I like doing this. So anyway guys, take care. That's Jason signing off.